Kappa 1, 2, 3. Well, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gone. I haven't added my camera to this scene. That's funny. Yep. Hi, Apollo. Welcome to my weekly recap that I do. If you're new to the channel, maybe you just watch some Mario Kart or something. I do other things than just pop off at video games on this channel, such as this weekly recap, where we look at some of the things that happened in the last week, things we care about, things we don't care about, and everything in between. So strap in, strap on, grab yourself a beverage. I hope you'll enjoy this week's Nymn News Network, now on YouTube. So if you're watching this from YouTube, what is your favorite beverage? Comment down below for the chance to win a free iPod Nano Touch. Anyways, guys, let's just get right into it. Like I said, it's sort of a weaker news network in my opinion. I keep playing it down so you guys don't get too excited. But we got some stuff that happened in the past week. We're going to start off with some very, very breaking news here. Do you guys remember this thing? The Dyson Zone. You guys remember this? It was a headset and then you flip down like an air filter that goes in front of the headphones. This is a $950 wearable that combined noise canceling audio with built-in air purification. This came out sometime after COVID, but it was supposedly not a COVID product per se, but like a I don't know. It launched in 2022 after 6 years of development, and it was widely criticized for its bulky design, its steep price, and very, very confusing purpose. Many people compared it to something out of a science fiction movie or worse, a COVID-era mask, and reviewers call it embarrassing, impractical, and out of touch. The point I'm saying here is it's now been officially canceled. That's right. They're not going to make any more of them. So if you do want to get a Dyson Zone, you better get your hands on it while it's still available. Despite high hopes from the project lead, Jake Dyson, this product never really found an audience. Now most retailers have run out of stock and Dyson no longer promotes it on their website either. But you can still find a few pairs on their online store if you really want to get your hand on a headset that also has built-in air purification. But even there, it's very hard to find the Zone. Jake Dyson said that they built this product because they believed that it solved a real problem: clean air on the go. But in the end, he admits that the market just was not there. He calls the Zone, he says it was ahead of its time and that it targeted a very niche group of people. Let's talk about YouTube real fast. Google's video service has updated their moderation procedures, meaning the moderators now have new guidelines for when content should be removed. And this includes a new rule: videos can remain on the platform even if they violate YouTube policies, as long as the violation occurs in no more than 50% of the video. Apparently, there was a recent or a similar guideline before previously. They were told to remove videos if they violated the rules in as little as a quarter of the video length, which is still news to me that you can somehow violate the rules just a tiny bit. But now apparently you can violate rules for half of the video. The reason YouTube is easing these rules is to, as they say, better protect freedom of speech. Meta, of course, has done something similar as well, allowing more permissive policies for content on their platform. Really, this whole thing started after Donald Trump was elected as president of the US last year. This here is Download Festival. It's held in the UK. It was this past weekend, and just a fun little quirky piece of news here. Visitors at Download Festival were asked to put their smartwatches in airplane mode as they went to the concerts, according to The Guardian. Because at last year's festival, police in Leicestershire, which I guess is close to where this is, received more than 700 emergency calls above what's normal. And the reason was because of mosh pits. Mosh pits, if you don't know, it's a rough style of dancing where people sort of throw each other into each other in front of a stage. Pretty common at these hard rock shows. And the mosh pits would then actually cause the emergency mode to be triggered on the smartwatches. I guess they thought they were in a car accident or something. If the smartwatch thinks that you're wearing it and you're in a collision, then it triggers an emergency call. So some 700 calls happened last year. No info yet how it went this year. All right, chat, wouldn't be Nym's news network without a bunch of trailers. Let's see. So gaming has been kind of slow now, obviously, because we just had a ton of gaming news already the past few weeks. So now we just have the final slop. There was something called the IGN Live and things of that nature. Let's take a look at what's going on regardless. Starting off then with, thank you for the follow. Here is We Will Be Gods. Some sort of massive online strategy game coming out on Steam. We gotta work together to face off against other players and their kingdoms. It sort of sounds like Clash of Clans, but it's on Steam apparently.
At a time, we will be gods.
Sponsor? Someone hit me up. Next up then we have something called Farmatic, and this is kind of exciting because it's from the studio behind House Flipper, Frozen Way. So this is their trailer for their new game called Farmatic, where you can play solo or up with 3 friends and automate your land, fight creatures, mine for resources. This is expected to come out sometime 2026. Okay, Agent Todd. I don't think it's out yet. I said 2026, man. Spiders!
Yes, there's more war, so I'm making more money.
Okay, next up then, guys, here's Atmosfar. Apog Labs have revealed their new game, and this is it. It's a survival adventure game. Never heard that before. You can explore floating islands alone or once again up with 3 friends. Gather resources, upgrade your ship, uncover what happened to the human colony known as Atmosfar. Okay, next up from Channel 37 Limited, they show some gameplay for their upcoming title called The Last Caretaker. And in this footage, you get to see players exploring underwater bases while they're fighting off swarms of robotic enemies. This game is slated to come out early access on Steam and Epic Games Store sometime later this year. Looks like Portal, sort of. Exclamation mark, link. What are you looking for with that command? Okay, next up then we have the trailer for Ahoy, mateys. Or just Ahoy. As the name suggests, it's a multiplayer naval combat game. And in this game, the player becomes the captain of their own ship. And then they get to interact with other players then in both friendly and probably some very hostile ways as well.
So we chart our next course. We sail. We fight. We endure. For the voyage is life. And life is the voyage.
Avast. Alright, next up, Konami. They dropped a new trailer for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Opens with some regular gameplay and then it reveals a new Bomberman crossover mode. This is parallel to the Ape Escape mode that will only be available on PC and PlayStation version. And then there's some sort of a tease for Metal Gear Online as well.
I'll grind you into dust! What the?
Snake Beater.
You're mine! All right!
Fuck. I'm assuming that FPS drop is intentional. There's a new gameplay trailer out for Total Chaos, which is a survival horror game from Trigger Happy Interactive. You can see here the player navigating the dark, monster-filled world of Fort Oasis. Bunch of spooky stuff going on here. And this game is set to launch July 24th for Steam and Steam VR.
Here you are, tracking yourself deeper.
VR horror.
I'll be waiting for you. Down in the mines. We'll confront the source of all this suffering. And maybe, buried beneath it all, lies an answer.
And finally, chat, the game you have all been waiting for. A game based on Moomin. Moomin Troll Winter's Warmth. You get to play as Moomin, who's completely alone after waking up from the winter hibernation. Look at how pretty that is. Ba pa 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 pa. This is a sequel. Ain't that something, huh? Those are some of the things to come out of gaming this week. And we are back here. Now for a crazy story. A Florida man managed to fly for free more than 120 times by pretending to be a flight attendant. That's right, his name is Tyron Alexander. And for years, he posed as crew for 4 different airlines. This is some catch me if you can shit. So he used fake badge numbers, made up hire dates, and false job titles to book flights meant for only for actual staff. According to the prosecutor, he flew 34 times with just one airline and claimed employment with 7 in total. The TSA investigated the case and said that while he doesn't pose a safety risk, he definitely broke the law. He was found guilty of wire fraud and impersonating airport personnel, and his sentencing is set for August 25th. He could potentially face up to 20 years in prison. Let's talk about dinosaurs instead, chat. Check it out. New Dinosaur just dropped. Researchers at the University of Calgary in Canada have confirmed that fossils found in Mongolia over 50 years ago, so older fossils, but previously they thought it was something else, but it turns out they belong to a unknown species of Tyrannosauroid. That is the dinosaur group that includes, of course, the very famous Tyrannosaurus rex. These fossils have been re-examined, and they discovered geological formation. They were discovered in a geological formation in Mongolia in the early 70s. And then back then, they thought it was a different dinosaur species called Alectosaurus olseni. But it was not. This is something different. Why it was different, how they know it was different, not sure. It just is, okay? Deal with it. It's called the Canculu mongoliensis. And it is believed to have roamed the earth around 90 million years ago. The body size is estimated to be about the same as that of a grizzly bear. You can see here there's a human on the left with a very prominent head and a skull that could reach up to 70 centimeters in length. The total body length here is believed to be around 4 meters, and a fully grown one might be over 750 kilograms. Here's another quirky story for you. This is America. Not the continent here, but a golden toilet. That's right. This thing was valued about 4.8 million British pounds. It was called America, and it was made by an Italian artist called Maurizio Cattelan back in 2016. Made completely out of 18-karat gold, and it's fully functional. I think maybe I've talked about this story before, but there's a development. But the story begins 2019. It was loaned to Buckingham Palace, and it was available there for use as part of an exhibition of Catalan's works. It was placed in a lavatory formerly used by Winston Churchill. So I think you could use this toilet. Not sure, but I think you could actually shit in it. In September 2019, a handful of thieves managed to steal this toilet, and some of them were quickly caught, and now last week, 2 of them got to hear their sentences. Here they are, the 2 guys. It's James Sheen, aged 40, pleaded guilty. He was the ringleader, and he has got a long criminal history. He's already serving 19 years for other crimes, and now he's going to serve another for this heist. Police found DNA at the scene, gold flakes in his clothes, and incriminating messages on his phone. We'll get back to those messages in a bit. But the other guy is Michael Jones, 39. He was found guilty of burglary, and he got 2 years and 3 months. He worked together with Sheen. He scouted the place ahead of the crime, and he even booked a time to use this toilet, and he took selfies with the toilet. It's been confirmed 5 people were seen on CCTV during this theft, but only these guys so far have been jailed for it. And the police, like I said, found his phone. The phone had some very incriminating messages on it. So just a pro tip, if you're looking to commit a crime, maybe don't document it on your phone. Shan Saunders, the senior Crown prosecutor on this case, said it was unusual to have a phone that when downloaded contained so much information. For example, here's a selfie taken by the guy who took the toilet. So there's a selfie with him. I think it's a bit cropped, of course, but that's the toilet in the background. He also had this picture on his phone. That is a big bag full of banknotes. He sent this message away, actually, together with the text that said, 520,000, ha, space, ha, space, ha. How do you get the money, you might wonder? Well, they actually melted the toilet. So the toilet is no longer in existence. They melted it back into gold, and then they sold the gold. Right then, time for some quickie stories that don't deserve me going much in depth, but are still worth bringing up. I'm going to start off by talking about we're staying in the UK actually. Lots of UK this week. Fully driverless cars are coming to the streets of London. For anyone who happens to be living in London, Uber and their robotaxi partner Wave have announced that they're now going to start testing level 4 autonomous vehicles on the public roads in the city starting next year. The key change here is that these tests are going to be conducted without a single human on board these cars, which was previously required, but now it's possible to do because of the UK's new Automated Vehicles Act that recently came into effect. A new remake of the original Silent Hill game has been announced. That happened during Konami's press start showcase. The game is being developed by Bloober Team, and they are known for the very well-received Silent Hill 2 remake. It's confirmed to be currently in development, and this marks the first full remake of this 1999 classic following the 2009 reimagining Shattered Memories. There hasn't been any info yet about a specific release date. Does anyone in chat own a Anker PowerCore 10,000 or on YouTube for that matter? No, okay, good. If you do, you might want to double check it because after 19 reports of fires and explosions, Anker has now issued a major recall of this power bank. Several people have suffered minor burns. It's also caused property damage estimated to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. The recall affects 1.1 million units. They were sold between June 2016 and December 2022, mainly in the US through retailers like Amazon and eBay. So if you bought this device through Amazon and eBay, and especially if you're American, you might want to look that up. Users are urged to stop using this device immediately, and then you can go to Anker's website to see if your unit is affected. Playing Nintendo Switch. The first Switch 2 came out now some 2 weeks ago-ish, and Nintendo has announced that in the first 4 days, they sold 3.5 million units. That makes it the fastest selling gaming console of all time. Oh, I thought it was only the fastest Switch when I skimmed through these news. The fastest of all of them? The first Switch sold 2.7 million units in its first month, while the Sony sold 3.4 million PS5s during the debut month. And the Steam Deck is estimated to have sold around 4 million units in total, and that's more than 3 years after it came out. So yeah, 3.5 million in 4 days. That's kinda crazy. We've got some entertainment quickies here. Starting off then with The Handmaid's Tale, if you're a fan of The Handmaid's Tale, I believe it recently wrapped up, but it's now getting a sequel, this series, based on another novel by Margaret Atwood. This upcoming show is going to be called The Testaments, just like the book it's based on, and it takes place 15 years after the events of The Handmaid's Tale. No word yet on when it's going to come out. Nintendo's highly anticipated Legend of Zelda movie has been delayed. It was originally set to premiere March 26th, 2027, but the new date is May 7th, 2027, according to Zelda creator and producer Shigeru Miyamoto. He didn't give a specific reason for the delay, but he has called it production reasons. While details are still scarce, we know that the film will be directed by Wes Ball and written by Derek Connolly. A24 is developing a new film with The Rock. That's right, set in early 2000s Southern Carolina. They're looking at Darren Aronofsky here on the left to direct the film. That was the guy who directed The Whale, which I believe won an Oscar for, what's that guy's name? Brendan Johnson? Anyway, so they're looking at giving the main role here to Dwayne Johnson, who might play a shady... Brendan Fraser. I only said Johnson because this is Dwayne Johnson. He's going to be playing a shady motivational guru that pulls in a troubled young man into his world. Pixar revealed a new original film called Gatto. It's coming summer 2027. Look, it's a cat. Directed by Enrico Casarosa. That's the director of Luca. It's set in Venice, and it follows this black cat. It's called Nero, and he gets caught up with a feline mob boss. They also teased something else called Hoppers, a film about a girl who becomes a robotic beaver. Oh. And they also gave a sneak peek at Toy Story 5, confirming Jesse's return. And they previewed Elio, coming out later this month. And Disney shared updates on Zootopia and announced Ron Clements is back as a special advisor. So there you go for them kids or people with some kids. All sorts of animated stuff coming up. Believe it or not, but those were the Nymn news. Is there anything the interns in chat want to share? Okay, what is this? Gooner Game of the Year. Stellar Blade mods are 41% smut, ensuring gamers will never see the light of heaven. Not surprised at all. Important rules. News.